How many of you are considering buying a property where you maybe want to purchase it for your own stay, at the same time also hoping that your property will have a good return in GDV? Maybe you are always alert and perhaps even skeptical of the property market and doesn't believe a word of advice from those gurus out there. Well, today I'm not here to give any kind of advice on either of those things, and my goal is to introduce projects that I find interesting, coming from a perspective of research I've done based on specific areas and make my own set of judgment at the end. So I'm introducing a project today, and I hope that you can take whatever I said with a grain of salt. Hi, my name is Edward. I'm a content creator, a host of a podcast called Unexplored on YouTube. So go check it out. And most recently, I'm venturing into property reviews, and I want to show what I've learned on site and in showrooms. Now, as a content creator, I'm not here to hard sell the project that I'm about to introduce. But if you are interested, great! Contact me once you finish watching this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. So everyone knows that Bukit Jalil is rapidly growing into a well-developed city. You have national stadiums that host multiple concerts each year. And for the rich uncles out there, you have the Golf and Country Resort. And the most anticipated project behind me is the KL Wellness City Centre. The KL Wellness City Centre will be the first in Southeast Asia to cultivate a lifestyle fully integrated with healthcare. Even till today, prices in Bukit Jalil can easily range from about 700 ringgit per square feet all the way to 900 ringgit plus per square feet. So with all that being said, I propose something entirely different, but almost the same. Welcome to Bandar Kinrara. Now, Bandar Kinrara is not exactly in Bukit Jalil, but it's right beside it, about 4.3 kilometers distance straight ahead to be exact. So it's actually located in the border between Bukit Jalil area and Puchong. So the project that I'm going to introduce to you today is Avantro Residences, developed by Chin Hin Group. This project is expected to reach completion around the first quarter of 2028. It's a mere 10-minute or less drive to Pavilion Bukit Jalil, and a walking distance of 4 minutes to the project site to the nearest LRT station, which I am going to now. So Avantro Residences is actually a commercial service apartment. It will have 21 retail shops, it's freehold, and it has 2 blocks with a SAMM tower, service apartment Mampu Milik. There's 40 floors in Block A and 42 floors in Block B, including the side-by-side parking space. By the way, the SAMM tower is already sold out, so before we move on to the showroom units, I'd like to show you around this area. The very first thing you will notice is another development sideways facing Avantro Residence, which is this one right here. This is called 8 Kinrara. So the view is partially blocked by Block A on certain floors by this building. However, I would say that it has its own advantage because you get less noise from the Bukit Jalil highway in front, which is this one. Right after that, you will see Giant right here. So this is the parking, but the entrance is right over there. So which is also very convenient, walking distance. While over here you can see there's the Maybank over here, and on top of that you will see Anytime Fitness, and it's in Bandar Kinrara Welcome Centre. Okay, so I've been timing myself going to the nearest LRT station, starting from the north entrance. It took me just about 4 minutes or less to walk to reach the station. So back at the LRT station, it only takes 1 stop to reach IOI Puchong Jaya. And there you can just walk to the mall. For me, I drove out at night on a Sunday from IOI Mall Puchong to Avantro. And it is relatively easy and convenient, with just 4 kilometers away. It's also just 5 stations away from Bukit Jalil, which is nearest to the stadium, and 2 more stops to reach Bandar Tasik Selatan. So using the Bukit Jalil highway is also not that far to connect you to KL Seramban Highway. Roughly is about like 11 kilometers to reach the North-South Highway toll. So this is facing the north side, and over here there will be retail shops, 21 of them. And there's also going to be the entrance for the retail shop and parking as well. For the residence is on the south side, which is the other way. So right beside it is the 10 Kinrara, another building over here, which will not have any blocking views. The main view is supposed to be on the north side over here, which you will see Giant, and also the Bukit Jalil highway. So as we move straight, you can see 8 Kinrara over here. So 8 Kinrara will have a slight bit of blockage view for Avantro Block A. I assume it's somewhere around Block A. So Block B is over here, which will not interfere with the north side view. And over here, as we walk in front, there's a lot of clinics, So you can see there's another, I think it's a mama, I'm not too sure. There's two clinics side by side, and there's also a dentistry in front. I think now they are just on their first phase of the construction, going on to the second floor. So this is the south entrance, which is also the residence entrance. Over here is the 10 Kinrara, and over there is 8 Kinrara, facing sideways. So we're gonna check out the south side. Let's go. So over here you can see that there's a lot of commercial centers, and you are surrounded by a lot of restaurants, cafes, bakeries, car servicing centers, pet shops, stationaries, you name it. So the advantage of you facing the south side is that you can be quite certain that your view will look something like this. You can tell that this area is actually considered quiet because there are no highways directly next to this side of the establishment, which is a huge plus in my opinion. So over here you also see KPJ Specialist Healthcare Center, which is at the south side of the establishment. Over there is actually Rainfora, another project that is ongoing. There's also an empty land here. Looks like there will be a chance of another development in this particular area located next to Tower B and the SAMM Tower in the future. So they also have Ramadan Pasar Malam over here. Yep, the whole stretch of the road. Okay guys, so I'm back in the car because outside is super hot now. Actually on the way back from the south side, there's also a public bank. So with all that being said, this place looks like quite a viable choice for someone who prefers walking rather than someone who's preferred driving out a lot of the times. You have basically everything that you need. However, I do have to point out that during busy hours, like in the afternoon, where students just finish their classes, I would say that almost the entire commercial shops, especially shops like Family Mart or 7-Eleven, will be heavily congested with like students who's waiting for their parents to come back from work or anything like that. So finding a parking spot will be a challenging thing to do during the peak hours, but that shouldn't really affect you because you will already have your own parking space. But it's just something to take note lah. The people here are mostly Chinese and Malays. I do see Indians as well. It's all mixed up together, which is a good thing because diversity means there will be mamak stores, there'll be nasi kandar, you name it lah. So before I actually came into my car, I asked the kakak next to me just now who's having their own Ramadan Pasar Malam. She said on every Tuesday there will be other pasars as well at night. So meaning to say, I have not checked it out, but every Tuesday, supposedly at night, there will be Pasar Malam as well. So there's a lot of schools around here within the 4-kilometer radius. You have SMK, SJKC, SJKT, even international schools just within this 4 kilometers radius. But in terms of universities like Bukit Jalil IMU, Sunway University and also Taylor's University, there's about 6 to 7 kilometers radius, which is not bad because Bandar Kinrara is actually in between of Bukit Jalil and also Subang Jaya. So I think this pretty much wraps up our visit in the actual site today. And now we're going to the showroom to take a look at their scale model and also their showroom units. Let's go. Alright, we're finally here at Avantro showroom at the Earth. So let's go inside and check it out. Okay, so we are now here, as you can see from the scale model, that this is Block A facing north over here. Okay. And on the other side will be Block B that interconnects with the SAAM building. So as for both Block A and B, the residential, it starts at 10th floor. It starts from the 10th floor all the way up to the 40th floor for Block A. For Block B, you get from 10th floor all the way to 42nd floor. So the 7th floor is where the facilities will be located at. So there's about 37 to be exact facilities, which I won't go through each and one of them, but I would tell you that there are 5 main zones in the facility area. The first being the family zone. The family zone is right here. This is the family zone. So this is the water play zone in the south side of Tower A. So there's multiple facilities in water play zone. And I was told by these two beautiful ladies over here that this is the badminton court, but it doesn't look like the badminton court here at the scale model, but it's okay. This supposedly is the badminton court and it spans up to 3 floors. So it's indoor badminton court. And there's also the kids' playroom at the same time, right next to the badminton court. And the last two will be the study zone and event zone, which is gonna be here. Okay, so this is facing the north side. If you are interested to know the exact facilities, you can drop me a DM and I'll send you the e-brochure. Okay, so we are facing the south side, which is the residential area. This is where the Tower A entrance will be, and then Tower B entrance will be here. And also the parking will be speed ramp style, so you will exactly go up and up and up instead of going in circles. So the residential parking starts at level 2 all the way to level 6 using speed ramps, which is great because parking space is side by side, so no tandem style parking, which is also great, of course. And we still need to see the actual layout of the parking to know if there's any flaws with the architecture, but for now, that's all we know. So the shop lots over here will span from the ground floor to the 4th floor, and the residents will be able to have a quick access from the shops via the 2nd floor in the parking lot. So for extra added convenience, so this is how it looks like. So over here you can see the material boards. This is for the bathroom, yard. Almost the same, I guess, but the prints are a bit different. The feel is the same. This is for the balcony. You get, I think this is MDF laminated wooden texture. Living room is a nice tile as well. For bedroom is the same laminated wooden texture. Okay, so now I'm reviewing the B4 unit, which the differences between B1, B2, B3 and B4. For B4, you actually get the window bay in the living room instead of the master room. The living bay window is actually indoors, not the outdoors balcony. They've exchanged these two, meaning to say that the garden deck is actually the balcony and it's located in the master bedroom instead of the living room. So this is B4, so meaning to say B2 would have interchanged, meaning to say that the balcony will be in the living room and the master room will have bay window. But that does affect a little bit of the square feet, so let's check it out. So this is the foyer, the entrance, and I'm gonna measure from here to here. It's 5.34 feet. And by the way, I realized that this is the mirrored version of showroom, so everything is actually mirrored. So coming in on the right, you will see that this is actually the study room. This is a 2+1 bedroom, so this is the +1 that we are talking about. Okay, so this can be a bedroom and it can be changed to a study room just like this one. And over here you get the kitchen. This is signature kitchen, by the way. Unit B only has partially finished. Okay, so this is the master room with the garden deck, which is the balcony. I think it's a bit weird for me personally. I feel like the balcony should be in the living room, which is here, but instead you get the window bay, the bay window, sorry. The bay window is for you to, I don't know, chill. It acts as another sofa. Personally, I would choose the balcony instead of the bay window over here. If I were to have any laundry done and I don't have a dryer, I would use this area, which is pretty strategic, kind of think about it, meaning to say guests won't be able to see your wet clothes around. Instead, it's gonna be at the master room. So this is the second room. It's actually quite spacious. I'm quite surprised this is actually quite spacious, and this is a queen size bed, I'm assuming, yes? Yeah, it is a queen size bed. And you still have space for a full wardrobe, Panasonic air conditioning. Okay, air conditioning will be for 2 rooms, the master room and the second room, as well as the living room. So this is how the toilet looks like. So as you can see, the brand, it's by Holster. Alright, I've been told that actually this unit is 80% similar to the actual unit. You also get the same branding over here as well, Holster for the shower head. It does come with water heater. The bathroom is actually pretty spacious to me as well. Moving on to the master bedroom's toilet bathroom. Alright, so you can see there is the window partition for the master room bedroom. Let's check out the ceiling height. This is actually plaster ceiling. We get a reading of 9.24 feet. For the kitchen, 6 feet. The height of the cabinet, 3 feet. Alright, we are done visiting the Type B4. Personally, I think that the +1 room is a bit special case. If you want to make it a room, you have to partition yourself. So that's that. So we are at the C2 unit, which is the balcony in the living room. It's called garden deck. I don't know why, but you also get a bay window on the master room indoor. So let's check it out. So you can see here would be the foyer. So yeah, so the foyer measures to 5.72, 2.46 feet. The kitchen is actually on the left. We'll take a look at the kitchen a bit later, but let's measure the ceiling height of Type C. If it's the same as, yep, 9.5 feet. So let's measure the one without the plaster ceiling. They used up 1 feet for the plaster ceiling, which ends up about 10.5 feet. So now we are at the C2 unit, which is the balcony located in the living room, or you might call it the garden deck. Okay, and the bay window in the master room. But as you can see here, this is the ID treatment display only. The actual plan is actually to have a bay window. So this master room is not the actual size. Okay, this is actually a fully furnished unit. 2 other rooms besides the master room. This is in the second room. If you actually put up a standard size cupboard, it will take up about 6 feet. Pretty spacious overall. So this is a kid's room. Alright, so this is how it looks like. Pretty spacious as well. You can fit a single bed over here, and you still have space, a new spot for a table and your cupboard over here. So we're looking at somewhere around 8.2 feet, which is enough for you to put a queen size bed, which is only 5 feet, and most likely you have to move the cupboard over here instead. Let's measure over here. So this measures to 13.7 feet. I think door frame to door frame is about the same, with a height of 7.7 feet. Alright, this is slightly bigger at 3.43 feet. Well, this setting for dining table is a little bit funny. I don't know why they want to put the L shape. This is not a restaurant, but illustration purposes only. If you're measuring from side to side, it's 7 feet as well. Well, they actually took up the space around here. It's supposed to be opened up, but it's a wine cellar over here, so we're gonna measure from this side, which is 4.5. I think this is pretty similar to the size from here to here. It's the same. It will be 7 feet. Okay, so in total there are 5 types of units, but this may be a little bit confusing because some type of units can also be divided into a few kinds. But the main difference being whether you prefer having the window bay and the garden deck, which is also the balcony, to be at the living room or at the master room. So the 2 interchanges between these 2 preferences will have slight increase in square feet depending on where you want it to be, and there are also options where you can opt for an extra window in the master room. But never mind, if you're confused, you can always contact me and I will take my time to explain to you. My number is in the description below, so do text me. So in the showroom, there are only 2 units, Unit C and also B. So for this unit, the C unit, the total square feet is actually 1,033 square feet. You have options for fully furnished and also partially furnished. They provide smart home system integration as well, with voice control, motion sensor, window sensor, smart switches and all that kind of stuff. You'll also be getting their special kitchen cabinets from Signature Kitchen. They claim that it is a moisture-resistant melamine face chipboard. It has soft close running drawers and claim to support up to 30 kgs. And you'll also get a push and catch drawer system. So let's get into the conclusion for today.
I had a bit of time to digest today's visit, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on it and what I found out a bit later. So later on, you can decide whether to buy or is it a buy, right? So share your thoughts in the comment section below. So I'll talk about why you should buy first. Either you are buying for own stay or as an investment. I would say that the location has a high potential to becoming a prime location in the future, because being at the center of Bukit Jalil and the Subang Jaya is very suitable for own stay, especially people who are working around these areas. And I also think that Bukit Jalil is a rapidly growing development. It will create more job opportunities that will bring even higher foot traffic without really affecting the areas in Bandar Kinrara. Plus, it's also freehold. And another big win is also the close proximity within the project to the LRT station, which is the Kinrara BK5 station in the Sri Petani line. I did check on Google Maps and I noticed that it's only a 180 meters walking distance, and it's one straight road directly facing the north. So in the video, I actually took 4 minutes to reach, but because I was filming and talking at the same time, so it should roughly take about 2 minutes or so for me to actually reach there. And as for the development and concept for the Avantro, I would say buy because of its versatility in terms of their choice of the units. Having 5 layouts ranging from 550 square feet all the way to 1,389 square feet, which each of them having their own unique differences, like the interchangeable balcony and also the bay window, or the extra windows for the master bedroom. So if you are thinking about buying as a partial investment, meaning you want this to be your own stay at the same time potentially renting out as part of your unit to tenants, you can also opt for the Type E, which is not in the showroom. You can turn it into a dual key unit, but you have to do the partition yourself. So meaning it's flexible for you guys to decide upon buying. It gives buyers, especially for own stay owners out there, a good personalized home, knowing that not all units are exactly the same. There are also speed ramp style parking, which I really like. No need to waste time going in circles. Plus, the parking is side-by-side parking, not some tandem parking. So this development is also fully furnished, and I believe there are certain quotas for the fully furnished units, but if you do not want fully furnished, then you can also get cash back. Now, I wouldn't concentrate too much on the facilities because I think that Malaysians, or a lot of Malaysians, do not really use them often. But for your information, maintenance fee is 35 cents per square feet. As for whether the parking space is accounted for the maintenance fee, you will have to find out in your S&P, because I'm not too sure about that. And if you have a pet, good for you because it's pet friendly. And since it's a mixed development under the commercial title, you will also be required to change the tariffs to the residential utility rates with TMB upon your VP. So with that being said, I'll be moving into the buys of Avantro, basically the cons. In terms of the development, there are no hackable walls, there are no soundproof windows, and even the competitor, the nearby project Rainfora by Trinity, has 6 types of units, whereas Avantro only has 5. And Rainfora also has built-in dual keys, but not hackable. But Rainfora is actually further distant from the LRT compared to Avantro, which is 400 meters. Then the next thing I think is, by looking at the retail shops of Avantro, I feel that the architectural design is a little bit funny, a little bit funky. I'm not sure what kind of business would utilize shop designs like these. Maybe some hipster cafes. And lastly is the price. I think the price is a little bit steep, but divided into per square feet, I think it's still quite reasonable actually. So here's my final verdict. For this service apartment, I think it's best suited for young professionals, small families, and investors who are looking for a well-connected, transit-oriented development. So what do you guys think? Would you buy this project? Let me know in the comment section below, and I want to hear your thoughts as soon as possible. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.
你帮他进 YouTube 啊？
哎，是哦，
我做网红。
tag 你，我 tag 你啊。
来，
上 YouTube 了，上 YouTube 了，上 YouTube 了，红了，红了，红了。